All filmmakers, videographers, visual creators watched a lot of TV, like watch on a regular basis, a lot. They consume a lot what they produce. What do you think about that, Fernando?
I don't think you can ever say like all, you know. I think there's always exceptions.
Well, that's why
but
we're talking about cliches, because they're always stereotyped.
Well, but you could say like, you know, most creatives, and it would still be a cliche. So if you say most creatives, I would say yeah, but not all. Most. You know, there's always going to be an exception. But I think that for a lot of us, the passion for here's the thing, guys. No one. There's no way you're going to tell me someone in this world was born and then they were like, I want to go on a film set and I want to hold a camera and I want to create films and I want to direct. They have to at least have watched something first. So do you get what I'm saying? So no one's in love with the, you might learn to love the process, but if you're being true to yourself, what you really love is film or TV or the painting. No one becomes a painter because they see a brush and an empty canvas and they're like, oh, let me start. No. Little kids, of course, they do, but they want to color that because they've seen that. So I think as a creative, you've seen movies, you've watched TV, you've seen all these things, and then you're like, I want to be a part of that. Same with photography too, you know? You want to kind of start creating too. You want to start doing that too. So that's at least how I see it. That's how it was for me.
I put that one in reality, you know, like cliche versus reality. I put that one into, yeah, we only create the things that we've been influenced by, you know, like you're not going to come up with this crazy idea. But if we touch in the, like, how original we can be as a creator is something that is also can, you know, bring some questions, because like I don't think anything is really original just because we're not the first humans on this planet, you know, like just because we like not everything was invented yesterday, so it's like a bunch of just information on top, more information and more information, and then you start, I don't know, picking or stuff like that.
Emmanuel, what do you think?
So I'm going to go through my perspective and the way I see it. I think, like you said, Fernando, like to become passionate inside, let's say what we do, film, commercials, TV, stuff like that, you have to at least watch something of that to be inspired to want to create that. Because I'm not going to grab a camera, want to be a photographer, but never see a photo in my life. That's hard. That's hard to make that leap until you see these things to inspire you. But it's also like once you start doing it day to day and every single day, do you really, like when you're watching movies, most people that aren't in the industry watch it as either an escape, a release, you turn your brain off, or you're just enjoying. And a lot of us watch it for the technical side of, you know, watching something and learning from it. For me, it's cameras.
I love that you touched that. Yeah,
I like that too. Totally. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that.
So for me now,
and
it's
Manuel's
like
just made this episode an hour long.
Now I dropped the seed. Now everyone else to jump onto that seed. But for me, like as a DP, I love if I'm watching a movie, and it's like, you know, it's a very, you know, good cinematography in that movie, then I start thinking technical wise, and I start enjoying it in a different way technically wise. But I don't always want to watch those movies anymore. Sometimes I just want to turn my brain off, or sometimes I just don't want to see something I'm seeing every single day. So I feel like as a DP, I don't think I watch as many movies as I did the first couple years. I'm more picky with the movies I watch, and now I do things that aren't in the same sphere as movies, or, you know, cinema or videos, stuff like that. Like I like to go outside, I like to go to the springs, I like to go to the beach, because if like I'm watching all these movies, all these videos, all this stuff, and then my break is watching more videos, more TV, and more stuff.
Oh no, forget it.
It's that weird cycle
Yeah.
that you start becoming. So I feel
Yeah.
like becoming a DP ruined movies for me, in that funny way.
Absolutely. No, I think it's natural. Like before I even, it's like a switch. One day you're super into it, and then you're obsessed with each frame, blah, and this and that, and then you feel like you love it, but you're also analyzing, and then you see other people in the room with you, and they're enjoying the story, and you're not, and you're like, oh wait, I'm lost in the story, and it's like, oh, yeah, you start losing that, especially if you're all about like the visuals, for example, or
Yeah.
art direction. You get it like in so many different details. You're just like, oh, do you see the card plate of that scene? And it's like, what? Like nobody's watching really
Yeah.
this type of thing. But it becomes like I do. So I'll say that personally, I've never been a heavy user of like the TV in general. No TV, no films. Like I do watch films, and I feel like I always like my family always bring me to really good movies that I enjoy a lot. But it's always whether it's my mom or my dad or my sister is like, oh, I watched this movie and stuff like that. I never am the person that is like, oh, let me watch all the Oscars this year. I'm like, no, like
I am.
unless I'm there, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
No,
But
I'm like that. Yeah.
I consume music like a junkie. I'm
Yeah.
crazy. I'm like, I listen to music too much, and that is what really, I don't know you guys, but I listen to music and I start having this crazy flow of ideas, of
Yeah.
visuals.
Yeah.
And I think that's where
I'm like that too.
my I don't know, origin of like creation in visual come from. I used to watch MTV as a kid like a crazy. I'll be every evening I'll turn on the TV and watch all this video music, and I don't know, it's just like that visual culture always stayed in my brain, and now like I always think of stuff like that, but
Yeah.
not really like a movie. I try to enjoy them, and I think it
Yeah.
come from like a movie theory class that they were like, guys, for the sake of it, never forget to enjoy the story,
For me it was a process. Like I started, I think in the beginning, of course you're learning stuff in class or you're learning stuff as you're shooting, and you're just like, oh, that's a medium shot. So every movie you're watching, you're paying attention. That is a medium shot. That is a close-up.
Facts.
Oh, they just used a dolly shot right there. Oh, this is handheld for sure. That's why it's using it. For me, that, and Martin Scorsese calls it visual literacy. So it's kind of like your way of learning how to write, how to read, but when it comes to films. So you're learning the visual language. And I think I went through those steps. I kind of went through that learning curve and learning process. And now I'm able to do both, which is pretty much what you guys are saying. I'm able to enjoy the film, but I'm also able to, when the movie ends, I know what I saw. I know exactly what I saw. I know there was some use of handheld. I know they had this long ass shot that took forever because they were doing this long take without any cuts. I know, you know what I mean? I know the story. I know the sound design was amazing. So I've developed enough of a visual literacy. Mind you, I watch more stuff, I think, than you guys. Like I watch too many films. I mean, my dad watches movies. Anywhere I go, my grandpa watches movies. So it's kind of like a thing in my family, and that's how I got started with it.
I'll say, like, especially my dad, my sister love to be watching TV. They feel it's the best time of the day to, get away. But my mom is like me. Like, we'll just not really stick on the TV for so long. Like, a movie's enough. 2 movies is why. Like, unless we're in a group. But why, though? Can we just talk or something? But it's like, I'm not like that. But, of course, with time, it all changed. And now I try to, when I'm trying to enjoy it and, get this getaway moment, I love when I get the feelings from the story, like whether it's laughing or crying. And then I'll say, this is a movie. You know, like
Yeah.
I'll be like, this is the
Yeah.
pure art.
It's the
I
climax,
felt all
right?
the
It's
yeah.
the climax.
When
it's,
I
it's this
feel all the
feeling that-
feelings, I'm
Yeah.
like, I like facts.
I want to jump onto that. I feel like when I jump into a movie, no matter what, I'm always looking at the technical side. There's only two ways to get me out of that, and it's if the movie's really good, and then I completely forget about cinematography, I forget about the shots, I forget about the lights they're using. I forget about all that, and I just enjoy the story. Or if it's really, really bad, and I have to actively turn off my brain to be like, if I don't, this movie's gonna make me mad. So it's on both ends of just like, either I'm enticed and like I'm fully into the story in the movie, or I just can't with what they chose to use, cinematography wise or acting wise or whatever wise, and I just have to turn it off. And then most of the times I enjoy it because now I'm just in, like, even if it's not as technically sound as I wish it would be, my brain's like, whatever, just enjoy what you can.
Or if it's like Dune, where
Enjoy the moment, bro.
it was so good technically, Dune, and we both fell asleep. Dude, we went to the movies together. I was here sleeping, and then
Yeah.
Emmanuel would wake me up. I would wake up, look at him, he's already sleeping.
How many times are they gonna show sand in this movie?
It's like every shot is like boom.
Every
like
shot
3
is a
hours.
close-up of sand, and it's like
Yeah.
sand. And then
you're
10
like,
minutes
okay,
later,
that's pretty,
sand.
that's pretty, the sound is good, but like, dude, it's enough.